Superman and Lois, episode 12. We had a little bit of a hiatus. It was like 2 to 3 weeks long. I'm assuming it was so we could finish rendering these last 4 episodes, which it's fine, man. You know, if you split it up like 5, 5, 5 since we got 15, I'm fine with that. It was just kind of like 5, 6, 4, which is fine too. Out of every episode this season, I think this one just didn't do everything for me. There's a lot of cool moments in here and a lot of interesting stuff, but this episode to me really felt like, oh, we got extended. We had to change some of the story to make it go a little longer and maybe just like fill in some time. A lot of great moments in here. You know, Steele gets a lot of work. John Henry Irons gets a lot to do, but I'm just like, I get the points. I get the beats we're going for here. There's certain moments where I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it. There's some interesting stuff. So we'll get into it. You know, we ended last episode and we saw that Clark was kind of like submitting to Tal-Rho's plans, and Morgan Edge had him like on the ropes. Like, you're gonna become a part of me. We also learn in this episode that the Kryptonian that is fighting to be inside the body of Kal-El is General Zod. Which I'm like, hey, that's cool. Let's throw him in here, because I don't think we need to tell another General Zod story. Like, I don't think anybody is craving that. Like, we've had enough with that character where I'm like, yeah, we'll do something else. Because Zod was in Krypton too, wasn't he? Remember Krypton? That show that lasted for 2 seasons that was really good? Zod was on there. So we don't need to use him again. And Clark's fighting through, trying to think of the things that, you know, snap him back. His family, his friends. And I really like that stuff because it does something I enjoy about Superman storytelling. And that is, he will push through every insurmountable odds just to get the job done and be the hero and do the right thing. And he's always gonna, like, the stories I like being told with Superman are just him, like, never turning evil and breaking through the bad, which is what this was, because you see the world around Clark. You know, General Lane is like it. Even his kids at some point are like, can our dad do this? Even John Henry goes, Lois, he cannot break through this. He can't survive this for too long. He can hold off maybe a little bit better, but he's not going to be able to break these insurmountable odds just to survive, to do this, because that is not what Supermen do. They can succumb to these things just as easy as they get to them. Which is really fun, because then it shows that our Superman is strong-willed, he is powerful enough to break through this, and when he eventually does, it's a really powerful moment to see him breaking through that pain of Zod trying to infiltrate his body. I think that stuff is really cool. It also makes me really happy that Lois is the one throughout the entirety of the show who's just like, I'm telling you, he can do it. Clark can get through this. She even tells John Henry Irons, like, I married him. That's how I know he can get through this. I love that moment a lot. You just see the pain on that actor's face, whose name escapes me at the moment, but John Henry's just like, oh, that makes so much, like, everything just kind of clicks into gear for him. Like, okay, yeah, makes some sense. I thought that was pretty cool. You know what else was pretty cool about this episode? Diggle shows up for really no apparent reason, but Diggle's like, I got some tech we're going to use to build the big bomb to blow up Superman. He's part of Argus, so if you had any, like, doubts or questions if this takes place in the main continuity of Arrow and Flash and all that crap, it does. Which I'm like, cool. Because all those shows kind of went downhill, so the fact that Superman and Lois is still a part of that works for me, man. I know it's not in the same universe as like Doom Patrol and Stargirl, but I like that this is the prestige we're getting for the CW stuff. Always great to see David Ramsey. He directed an earlier episode, and he right away is just like, this is a bad idea. He is on the side of Lois. He's like, do you really think Oliver would agree with the choices you're making? Because suddenly we're going to like hold Oliver up as the standard of, you know, healthy choices making in the CW universe. I like it. Just David Ramsey, throw him in all the shows, because he feels like the adult came in, you know? Which is something that the CW shows need. But when he was in Arrow, I'm like, yeah, he works in Arrow. When he comes on Superman and Lois, I'm like, oh yeah, I like this guy. Let's keep him around for a bit. Put the ring on his finger. We teased it, didn't we? I never watched all of Arrow. But I liked having him in here. Just nice to explore the world a little bit more. If he wants to do it, shove him in. I really liked it. Another part of the story I really liked, even though I thought there were some interesting elements at play with it, the stuff with the Cushings. I've said it from day one, I think Kyle is a really impressive character. I like what they do with that, and I like how the entire town of Smallville starts to view the Cushings as these bad people because they were like promoting Morgan Edge and his bad ideals, and the town just starts to hate them. So much to the point that their friends don't want to talk to them. When they leave the house, it gets broken into and graffitied. Pretty much a hate crime. I like that we're putting that with the episode last time that showed like this stuff that's related to Superman smashes the Klan, just showing how little it takes for people to actually become villains, and seeing like the destruction of their town and these people that have lived there forever becoming the villain in their eye because of the things they did to try to save the town. I love Kyle just like, I didn't want to do anything wrong. I wanted to help these people. That is why I wanted to be with Morgan Edge. Like, I thought we could do some genuine good here. It turns out we couldn't. That's powerful. That's realistic. And I really like that stuff. And the family comes closer together through these hard times, which is kind of nice to see. They have a weird montage where like they're wiping like the hate crime off the side of their house, and they start throwing like water and soap and buckets at each other. And this entire time I'm thinking like, where the hell's your youngest daughter? Like all these emotional beats about Kyle wanting to protect his family. Where the hell's his youngest? She doesn't show up till the final scene of the Cushings, and we just say, she was away somewhere. Where was she? We don't explain it. She was just elsewhere because we probably didn't need her. But we did, because we introduced her already. You don't want to do it, don't have the kid in. Just use Sarah. You don't need Sophie. I think that's the name of the kid. Whatever, but it's cool. I like that stuff worked pretty good. There's some things that were like, yeah, okay, that's a little too much for this. Like, Sophie was missing the whole time. Weird stuff. I still think they were a very enjoyable part of the story. I like this stuff with Jonathan and Jordan. Again, subverting the expectations that a lot of people have that Jonathan is going to be this asshole guy, but he's the one who is pumping up Jordan to use his hearing, to use his super hearing, to find their father, to pinpoint exactly where it is. He's also the one that has the emotional beats with pretty much everybody in this episode. You know, when he talked to his grandfather in the last few episodes, just being like, you're a coward who's doing the wrong thing, because I would trust my family before I went for the worst angle. And in this episode, when he goes to talk to John Henry, he's like, I just want you to know that you're going to be killing my father. If you choose to kill him with this weird device you built, you're killing my dad. And he's a good man. He's a good father. He's a good Superman. I just want you to know those choices before we get there. I like that Jonathan's doing this, because he could easily just become bitter and sour, but he's remaining positive, which is a very cool thing to see. I enjoyed that a lot. And like I said at the beginning of this, John Henry has a lot to do in this episode. It's kind of like his emotional journey. Like, is he going to make the sacrifice and kill Superman? The entire time he wants to. He thinks this is how we stop the world from being destroyed again. He's got the armor. He's still got the big ass hammer. He's going to use to knock Clark around a bit. And I really like that. When the moment comes to do the thing where he's going to kill him, of course he chooses not to, because it's pretty much Lois. He knows Lois trusts this guy. Lois is breaking through to Clark. It is very powerful stuff. Very powerful. I love that. I love that. This interpretation of Lois goes into a bunch of other angles that we haven't really seen of a Lois Lane before. There's a lot more like emotion behind her, which I enjoy seeing. Especially, there's a really beautiful moment in this episode where she tells her sons everything's going to be okay, but when she steps out of the building, out of their house, and she goes to see her father, just collapses into his arms, because she knows, like, we're going to have to kill him. She knows that he can break through, but like it might not be enough time, and she's just accepting that she's probably gonna have to say goodbye to her husband, and she'll never really have that moment again. It's just so much power behind her little moments like that. I just severely enjoy with this character. Elizabeth Tulloch is doing such a great job. Tyler Hoechlin too. This guy is Superman. He may not on paper look like your classic idyllic Superman, but holy cow, is he just proven you can do so much with so little. Like, just the way he screams in agony, the way he is just lifting himself up from the ground, building himself back up in those small, intense moments. It works so well. It is so powerful. I really enjoy what he's been able to do in this. And when he finally breaks free in him and and Steel go on their mission to go find Morgan Edge, that looked okay. Like, the CGI, again, it's iffy, but it looked better than some of the other ones. They're flying through space, just attacking Edge. It looked really cool. Like, that stuff was really fun. I enjoyed that a lot. And then Morgan Edge just like, okay, I guess I'm done. He gets defeated. We lock Morgan Edge up in a prison. And it looks like Steel's going to be the good guy here, which I think is really fun because the character's interesting. The suit looks surprisingly good. It's got Luthor inspirations, but we'll see what happens there. I wouldn't be surprised if John Cryer showed up at the end of the season or in the next season. That would not surprise me in the slightest. I'm really enjoying what the show had to do. You know, I don't think this episode was the particularly meaty one that we saw the past few episodes, but I'm just like, you filled out some story, you know, you gave the characters enough to do, the Cushings are closer than ever, Jordan and John are together in a strong way, Lois had some great emotional beats, Clark is back to normal, we kind of like wrapped up certain things with the Morgan Edge storyline, and I think that's exciting. We still got like, what, 3 episodes left, I think? That's a lot, and I'm curious to see where this is going to go, because you could have finished this story like 3 or 4 times already, so I'm like, where else do we go with this? I don't know, but it's exciting to see what could be from this, because, well, this isn't my favorite episode of the show, it is still solid, it is still great television, and it goes to so many interesting and unique places. The show continues to impress me on every turn, and I love the way it's looking. Every actor just gets it, every role just works so perfectly. I think there's a lot to like in the show, and for some reason, we can throw in David Ramsey and make it work in tremendous ways, so I wonder if he will be sticking around for a bit, and what's going to come next with that character. But Superman and Lois continues to impress. I am super excited to see where the finale is going to go, and this episode, great stuff for John Henry Irons, Lois Lane, and Clark, of course, because they're awesome people, and some of the best portrayals of each of those characters is on this show. So that is going to do it for my review of Superman and Lois. It's a short one this week just because you get it. It's a fine episode, but there's not much to dive into, I personally think, but we'll have to see what happens. Maybe next week's will be bigger, badder, and scarier. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, good luck.